Dad,
What's up, kids?
is this true?
What's that?
The editorial from the Guam Daily Post.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, kids. I was waiting until you're much older to tell you the truth. I'm sorry to tell you this, but sometimes what you read online from some newspapers or media providers, sometimes it's just not true. Sometimes they take the facts, they twist them, they turn them, they even throw them out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to break the news to you. I'm sorry.
What? Cut to intro!
Welcome to another episode of the Micronesian News Broadcast. Thank you for tuning in. We have a very special lineup for today, so please tune in. We recently sent out a message deploring the anonymous article from the Guam Daily Post. In it, the writer made many points that from the viewpoint of colonial Guam seems commendable. Since then, an apology was issued, acknowledging that they knew the risk their article would cause some backlash. Guam Daily Post still stands by its views. They believe that money for the FSM should be flowing towards Guam to pay for the disproportionate use of services Micronesians in Guam use. Use of the trust fund for FSM and even money from the Department of Interior must go, and I say must go to Guam. It's almost as if they want a compact agreement as well. We understand that Guam Daily Post does not represent Guam as a whole, but are the words of a few people who are legitimately concerned about the welfare of their home island, but somehow have. However, that doesn't excuse claims without facts, blatant disrespects for other leaders of nations, and doesn't commend for the fact of jabs towards the Micronesian community of Guam. In the words of academic Dr. Robert Underwood, and I quote, "So if you look at the trajectory of political status development, at one point in time in the 60s, it looked like the Trust Territories, or the Pacific Islands, were way behind and Guam was a lot closer and had a great deal with the U.S. And then over time, everybody just kind of leapfrogged ahead along. And Guam is still essentially in the same situation it was in the 60s. We may look poor, we may be different from you, but don't discount us yet. We are a force to be reckoned with. We are Micronesia." And in our second story, also published on the Guam Daily Post, Emily Cherkilang, noted figure of Micronesia, submitted a work entitled "Micronesians Are Beautiful People," which is true. A beautiful piece encouraging Micronesians on Guam to be proud of their heritage and to take a stand against racism. Our people go to Guam, pretty much everywhere in America, to find a good life and create a promising future for themselves and their families. However, because of the acts of a few, and mostly from targeted racial stigma, Micronesians receive a rather unfriendly welcome on Guam and are signaled out to be backwards, criminals, dirty, and uneducated. Isn't Guam a part of Micronesia? It's like Mexicans in America receiving racial hatred, or even Native Americans or Hawaiians receiving racial hatred in their own lands. Isn't Guam a part of our region? But we're not even welcome here. And in our last story, you may be thinking to yourself, why are we even talking about these stories? Why are we even taking a stance on racism? Well, it's an important thing. Racism is never a thing that should be taken lightly. How many lives were lost, ruined, or never realized because of racism? Racism towards any black, white, Filipino, Hawaiians, or Micronesians should be stopped. On social media or in real life, we must realize we are all human beings and that all human beings bleed red. Now here is my sister Alana with the announcements.
Hey guys, I'm Alana and these are the announcements. In our first announcement, congrats to Mary Helen Mori of Chuuk. She graduated with honors with a degree in anthropology and a minor in political science from Sophia University of Japan. And in our last announcement, Chinese scientific vessel was found illegally operating in Palau's EEZ.
Hey guys, this is Norman and this is the weather for tomorrow. 29 degrees Celsius high during the day and 23 degrees Celsius low during the night. With thunderstorms and 90% chance of precipitation and 84% of humidity.